This is SVG-TV News for Monday, November 23rd, 2015. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. The Camden Park playing field came to life on Saturday evening as the Unity Labour Party continued their political campaign with a rally devoted to showing appreciation to cultural artists who have expressed their political opinions in songs, and the launching of the online version of the ULP's 2015 election manifesto dubbed the 2020 Vision with Labour Love. Addressing the gathering, leader of the ULP, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, said that the document is the most comprehensive, detailed and compelling developmental narrative ever offered by any political party in the history of the Caribbean, based on the party's people-centered vision and social democracy philosophy. Using the 2013 development plan as a starting point, Dr. Gonsalves noted that the ULP manifesto builds upon the manifestos of 2001, 2005 and 2010 and provides a summary of the developmental policies for projects such as the completion of the Argyle International Airport, a new city at Arnis Vale with a modernized health facility, new container port, and the geothermal energy project. Dr. Gonsalves said their plans also include an expansion of the education, health, and housing revolutions, with special attention given to the development of the agriculture, fisheries, and tourism sectors, and urban development.
The investment over the next few years will come up to over $700 million US. And Mount Twin Peters hope it would be $250 million US. In Kanawha, a further $200 million US. In Beckway, $70 million US. In Union Island, $150 million US. In Mairo, $40 million US. And Emerald Valley Casino and Resort, $25 million US. Agriculture and fisheries, there's a whole program. And Soboto was instrumental in writing that section. Further monies for bananas, the Farmers Support Company, cocoa, coffee, ground provisions, fruit and vegetables. Then the manufacturing sector, which has had an uptick because we have given some special incentives to the manufacturers, including all their raw materials to have duty-free concessions. And an investor from Guyana is going to put down a pharmaceutical plant. He has 250 pharmaceutical products, including Limacol and Feral Compound. And that is also coming here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Dr. Gonsalves said having provided over 8,000 jobs since taking office in 2001, once re-elected to office, the ULP intends to serve the people even more over the next 5 years, providing them with the proper resources, facilities, and opportunities for the benefit, and asked for the support of Vincentians at the December 9th, 2015 polls so his party could complete some of the tasks already laid out.
Just 3 days ago, I sent off an acceptance of the terms from the Kuwaiti Fund for Arab Economic Development for roads in the agricultural areas, feeder roads and roads, village roads, nearly $14 million US. And they are coming here at the end of January to finalize all the technical work. I tell you this, all over the country, you are going to see a road repair program, a road reconstruction program, sea and river defenses, the likes of which this country has never ever seen. And you know, when I promise you something, we always deliver them.
And the Northern Grenadines representative for the New Democratic Party, the NDP, Dr. Godwin Friday, says that the recent test flight at the Argyle International Airport was a bamboozlement of the ULP in their attempt to distract the people from their issues and failures. Speaking at a rally in Sandy Bay on Sunday night, Dr. Friday says that the ULP does not deserve a fourth term in office and urges the party supporters present not to fall victims to the ULP again. In regards to the recent test flight at the Argyle International Airport, Dr. Friday says that a proper test would be if the planes were coming from another country in the region and not from the E.T. Joshua Airport.
Candidate, but because you believe in the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for yourselves and for your children, we are working for you to build that future, and we want to join hands with you so that we could all do it together. That is how we are strongest. The Unity Labour Party government over the past several years, their fortunes have declined and they have tried every single thing to try to tell people that even though they have not been performing, that somehow they deserve our support. When they can't deliver, they turn around and they blame us in the New Democratic Party. They find fault with the opposition when the Prime Minister doesn't perform. They find fault with me and my constituency when they have not delivered in the Northern Grenadines. But that is all trying to bamboozle people. Just like they did the other day, when they said that they were flying into Argyle.
Leader of the opposition NDP, Arnim Eustace, outlines the reasons why he feels his party is the best choice for SVG at this time. According to Eustace, the NDP does not have the mentality that they know everything and they value and respect the needs of the people. Eustace says he's very confident of the NDP's slate of candidates and their capabilities, as well as the party's grasp on the issues affecting Vincentians.
I know Gonsalves for quite a while now, as you would imagine. But I look at the world in a much different way than he looks at the world. A much different way. I am concerned, and this team that we have here is concerned about what people do, how they live, and what we must do to assist them in living. That's our modus. That's what we work on. That is why, while he's still struggling about the manifesto, we could tell you clearly in 83 pages what we are going to do for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We set out our plans and programs there, and a lot of these plans are developed and with consultation with the people, as we did with the farmers last year.
The leader of the Unity Labour Party, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, told persons gathered at Saturday's rally in Camden Park that no one should consider voting the NDP into government due to their inefficient leadership and false development plans. Commenting on statements made by the party's leader, Arnim Eustace, about taking austerity measures if elected into office, Gonsalves said that he could not understand why a leader would attempt to fool people by depriving them of their benefits.
Now, every month, I have to find $25 million to pay public servants and make NIS contributions. Every month. Users in the house say, that's too much. Well, if it's too much, the only logical conclusion, you have to cut it. And his intention is to cut at least $5 million from the monthly payroll. I want you to go with me with the arithmetic. That's $5 million he cut in. This year, we are spending $18 million on public assistance. $18 million. I have nearly 6,000 people on public assistance. He said that's too much money. Well, if you want to cut public assistance for the poor or children of the poor, you could come and tell me you could win election in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the year 2015.
Dr. Gonsalves warned Vincentians to pay close attention to the plans which the NDP is hoping to achieve. He said that with plans to cut out youth and elderly development in order to lower the deficit on the current account in 3 years, the NDP will do nothing but neglect the people of SVG.
Add up all of those is $40-something million they will cut. Well, if you cut that, you could balance the budget and have a surplus. But you will doing it on the backs of the poor and the working people and the vulnerable. And I will not allow that to happen so long as I have breath in my body. And I want you, under the suzerainty of Almighty God, to support the Unity Labour Party in the way we are working in the interests of the nation, the poor, the working people, the vulnerable, and the marginalized.
It is time for the youths to excel in sports, academics, the arts, and other areas of Vincentian society. That was the address delivered to supporters of the NDP at a rally in Sandy Bay last evening by candidate for North Central Windward, Kenroy Johnson, who says that the NDP understands the desires of young people to achieve a higher level of autonomy and independence instead of relying solely on handouts. Johnson says under an NDP government, the young people of SVG will be able to work and be independent and make a valuable contribution to the growth and development of the country. He added that the ULP has been disappointing in meeting the needs of all the youths of the nation, having promised much but yet delivered little.
They promised quality jobs to the young people, didn't they? But who has the quality jobs? Somebody said Bones Bunny did that. Who else? Vincent Beach. Who else? All right, we can name a long list of these guys. Too much, and our young people have been neglected. I am therefore very, very much aware of your struggles, young people, your dreams, and your aspirations. And I want to promise you that we have a team, and in this team we have several persons who are so very interested in the youth that your interests would be very well represented. I know that young people are very ambitious. They generally dream big. They seek opportunities for self-advancement of our young people. So in our manifesto, we have quite an ambitious yet realistic program to take our youths into the future, to empower our youths in the field of education, in the field of youth development, in sports.
And the NDP's candidate for West Kingstown, Daniel Cummings, used the example of the board bus in Fancy and the government's lack of compassion when it was time to replace it. Daniel says an NDP government will provide better representation for Vincentians and a government that is able to properly plan and effectively execute projects.
There was a time when Fancy was the most difficult place to get. There was no electricity, there was hardly any water, and the road was horrible. The people of Fancy, with the assistance of Rotary, recognizing their plight, they got together and they started to sell sugar cake. And they raised a few $100. With the assistance of the Rotary Club, we were able to buy for Fancy a big bus, the wooden bus. That bus was the ambulance. It was the freight vehicle. It was the passenger vehicle. It was the means of taking all the goods out of Fancy and the means of taking everything into Fancy.
According to Cummings, the ULP has been playing with the future development and lives of the people of North Windward and SVG on a whole. Since adult suffrage, there has been no other political party, that has done as much for the poor and marginalized persons of SVG than the ULP. That's according to the ULP's candidate for the constituency of South Leeward, Jomo Thomas. Thomas told supporters at a rally in Camden Park on Saturday night that as the date for general elections draws near, Vincentians must prepare to come out in their numbers to exercise their democratic right and elect a government dedicated to developing SVG.
We went through a process yesterday called the nomination process. It was the easiest thing in the world. It was as easy as Sunday morning. But you know what? Now comes the hard part. Now comes the hard part, brothers and sisters, and you, the partisans of labor, you, the brothers and sisters, the comrades of labor, have to put yourselves to the wheel to ensure that labor continues to deliver the benefits to the poor, that labor continue to bring all of the great gains in education, that labor continue to bring the gains in housing, that labor continue to do the things that put the people first.
Thomas said that since taking office in 2001, the ULP has devoted all plans and policies to serving the people, which he has no doubt will continue once they regain office come December 9th, 2015. As a first-time candidate, Thomas vows to selflessly serve his constituency of South Leeward and urged his supporters to work toward the goal of regaining the constituency for the ULP.
We have to commit ourselves to ensure that the Unity Labour Party continues as the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We can make it if we try. We can make it if we try just a little harder, brothers and sisters. Comrades, we can make it. We are poised on a victory in South Leeward. Change going to come. Change going to come in South Leeward. And come the evening on December 9th, Jomo Sanga Thomas will be declared the representative of the people of South Leeward.
NDP candidate for North Windward Laurent Shearer Baptiste at a meeting in Sandy Bay urged constituents not to be fooled by handouts, gifts, and so-called declaration of love by the ULP, since this is only a ploy to get back into office. According to Baptiste, gifts only last long enough for the ULP to get back into office, which is a period of 5 years. The North Windward hopeful, who is seeking to unseat Montgomery Daniel in his first election, says the poor remain poor and the hungry and marginalized remain in the same conditions. However, he says that a vote for him and the NDP is a vote for a wealthier, better quality of life without victimization and a revitalized agricultural sector.
He makes sure that he kills the agriculture that you, the farmers of this constituency, depend on. He has a golden opportunity to really move this constituency forward as Minister of Agriculture. But you know what? We know a long time ago that Montgomery do not love people. He do not love the people of North Windward. He doesn't even love the people of Sandy Bay. And tonight, you know, tonight I really want to talk to the people of Sandy Bay who most of them continue to follow Montgomery Daniel. What is it that you are following this man for? Tell me. Tell me. Every election Montgomery come around with some gifts and handouts unto you. And after that you don't see him anymore.
Additionally, Baptiste vows that if elected, all farmers of SVG will enjoy more emphasis on a more diversified agricultural industry.
Acres of bananas. And not only we plant 1,000 acres of bananas, but each farmer would get an income support while your banana is growing. And the New Democratic Party also would provide the credit facility for all farmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not only banana farmers, but all farmers, even the root crop farmers as well. And one thing you wouldn't find Shearer doing, you know. Shearer will never, when I become the parliamentary representative of this area, you will never find Shearer giving you 2 sacks of fertilizer and tell you to vote for him. If I have to do that, it tells me that I have failed you.
The North Windward candidate also announced plans to restore the lands taken away from persons in Orange Hill and to fix the irrigation system neglected by the ULP administration in the constituency that was damaged a number of years ago.
That all those persons and lands who they took away, Government Orange Hill, what national property is now in control of, you going to get back your land on the 9th of December. Book it and believe it and tell yourself that I said here tonight that you are going to get back your lands. We had an irrigation system. Since 2010, after the hurricane, it got damaged. And up to today, them guys would not fix the irrigation system. All because the irrigation system was put down by the New Democratic Party. So, and again, it will take the New Democratic Party to put back the irrigation system for the farmers in North Windward and Langley Park and Grand Sable.
In more local news, the issue of violence in schools here in SVG is not new. However, there has been an increase in recent years. And President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says in order to arrest the situation, the source of the problem must first be dealt with in a holistic manner, involving the schools, teachers, as well as the church. According to Robinson, qualified counselors should also be placed in schools along with guidance counselors.
I think that one of the things that we need to do is to offer more counseling to our young people, and also counseling to the parents, because there are some parents who are in fact saying to their children, if somebody flog you at school, if somebody attack you, do likewise. So we need to say to our parents, that's where we need training workshops for the parents. And counseling in school, we need counselors. We're not just talking about guidance officers. To be a counselor, you must have a master's degree. You must be interested in the social and in emotional development of people.
Robinson says everyone's support is needed to solve this problem, which is being influenced heavily by the media through television as well as music, both local and imported. He noted that violence among students usually stems from a difference of opinion, and if a human rights approach is taken in the bringing up of children from an early age, they may learn to be more tolerant and learn to exercise restraint when attempting to solve a conflict. According to Robinson, punishments administered today seemed not to be effective. He used suspension as an example, saying that some students look at it as a reward, a day off from school, rather than a punishment. Hence, stiffer penalties in the schools and homes are needed.
There are also those students, whether you use a developmental approach or not, there are some students who have this mindset that unless you punish them, they will not adhere to the rules and the regulation of the institution, whether it's a school or whatever. So you have to increase the penalty, and you have to be strategic in what punishment you give, because whereas you could suspend a student for 1, 2 days, up to 7 days in some cases, to some students suspension would be a reward. They want to be at home, they will get access to the violent movies, whether on television or on YouTube, on the internet. They would be at liberty to do their own thing, because in some cases parents would not be able to give the type of supervision.
Robinson also noted that using a reward system where students are rewarded for good behavior is proven to be effective and will motivate students. On another note, Robinson appeals to Vincentians to respect each other despite political opinions, especially the adults who are to set an example for the younger ones.
Even now that we are in the heightened election season, it is much more imperative for members of the wider society, and here is where adults must demonstrate. They must model tolerance, they must exercise temperance, self-control, because many people, they get angry and they do not know how to control that anger. And so here is where I'm appealing also to the general public. You may be supporting one party or the other. That does not mean that you would want to
attack another person in a violent manner. All of us are Vincentians. We have to learn to respect and understand also that everybody will not belong to the same side.
The regional project for implementing biosafety frameworks, for which the University of the West Indies is the lead executing agency, conducted a workshop today at the Sunset Shores Hotel in Villa. The workshop will run until Wednesday, November 25th this year, under the theme Socioeconomic Considerations in GMO Decision Making, and is in collaboration with the University of Alpen Adria in Switzerland. It is designed to familiarize participants with the key aspects of socioeconomic considerations and to make them aware of the requirements, options, and constraints of considering socioeconomic aspects in GMO policy making. Addressing the gathering at the opening ceremony was Regional Project Manager Dr. Michelle John, who explained that it is critical to have information sharing on such issues.
And this is a collaboration we have with the University of Klagenfurt for this particular workshop. We are aware that socioeconomic considerations, it is something that is on the front burner, at least for persons in the region. So therefore we found it necessary to put on this workshop to provide you with some information and some, I don't know if guidance is the word that I should use, but at least provide you with the information so persons would get an idea of some of the aspects that need to be considered if we're looking at socioeconomic considerations.
Professor Pat Umaharan, who is the technical leader on the Regional Biosafety Implementation Project at UWI, outlined that the project, which began some 3 years ago, has two components which address GMO issues regionally and nationally. He also noted that the Regional Biosafety Project aims to assist in areas such as policy making to implement effective, operable, transparent, and sustainable national biosafety frameworks.
It has been a learning process. We started off very slow, but many of you all will agree that we have picked up steam during the last couple of years, and I must say that we are doing pretty well at the moment. The project itself has two components: the regional component, which the University of the West Indies manages, and then national components that are managed by 12 countries in the Caribbean region. So you could see how elaborate the project is, and with being elaborate comes complexities, with different countries moving at different speeds and so on. So it is fortuitous for us that the University of the West Indies conceived a regional component which provides support for countries in terms of assisting them with training, capacity building, as well as assisting with the implementation of the legislative agenda as well as the administrative systems.
The aim of biosafety is to ensure the safe handling, transfer, and use of GMOs resulting from modern biotechnology. The students of the Dorsetshire Hill Government School will again be smiling this Christmas thanks to the generosity of parent company of SVG-TV, SVG Broadcasting Corporation, who donated a sum of money to help with the school's annual Christmas party. SVG-BC Sales, Marketing and Promotion Officer Keisha Belingi says that the media entity is pleased to have adopted the educational institution and help ensure that the students get a joyful Christmas. She says that this is the season of giving and SVG-BC will do what it can to spread Christmas cheer.
For the past years, SVG Broadcasting has contributed to the Dorsetshire Hills Government School Christmas Party, and this year it's no exception. Once again, we are here to ensure that the students enjoy this festive season on behalf of SVG Broadcasting Corporation.
Acting Principal of the Dorsetshire Hill Government expressed gratitude to SVG-BC and says this will ensure that each child not only receives eateries but a gift this Christmas.
On behalf of the staff, the students, and the entire community as a whole, I'd like to thank SVG-TV for the continued support in the annual Christmas party of the school, in that they treat the children to a meal and a gift at Christmas.